we barely ever think about their Grok models. It's like it's the forgotten fourth child, right? So if Elon's really gonna try to battle with ChatGPT, he's got a long way to go.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the podcast. In today's video, we have some interesting stories for you. Money, what's up? What's going on?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question. Yeah, it's a lot going on. But based off of what you have, we could talk about Elon and longtime friend Sam Altman, not friends anymore because of what happened here. So back in I think around 2015, Google's always been leading a lot of research when it comes to AI because we've had this goal towards how do we make humans more efficient, faster, using some sort of autonomous artificial intelligence, and then the end goal has always been, work in AI and hopefully get to AGI, right? And
Yeah,
Google's always had just the financial power, the human resources, and thus they've been leading a lot of research when it comes to AI work. And we all know how Google works. They're more so for profits, deliver value, but also make sure your pockets are well loaded. So Elon wanted to see, hey, how do we kind of compete with Google for AI work and getting towards AGI? But instead of being all about the profits, how do we make it a non-profit thing? So think about Star Wars or Star Trek universe where it's a high tech environment and everyone has a chance, everyone enjoys it, and it's not a monopoly or someone's making more profit out of it, right? So Elon's mentality was how do we try to achieve something similar and not rather go towards the Terminator where we have one company working on it and then when they eventually get to the finished product, they can milk the rest of us, right? So he assembled what I'd call a group of other super financial investors, financial tech investors, I should say, to kind of help with that vision. So that's kind of how OpenAI was started around 2015. It was Elon, Sam Altman, along with a bunch of other folks, but these are kind of the two names we have when we talk about, how OpenAI got started back in 2015. So back in the day, Elon was one of their biggest investors. He put in about $38 million of cold, hard USD into that investment, right? And he was a big part of it before, mixing that up with Tesla and all the other stuff he's got going on. And I believe at some point he wanted to be more of the face of OpenAI, be the, bigger leader in the room. And that quite didn't work out. And due to a lot of other stuff, he got kicked out of the organization. So he really wasn't a part of that after the earlier 2015, investment and them getting it started. So somewhere along the line, it didn't really go great and they fell out. So that again, and now where we're at with the court cases, Elon essentially said, hey, back in those days when I put in that money, it helped OpenAI go from being a startup to being a multi-trillion dollar company it is today and vying for their IPO. So he was like, since I put in that much money from the start, I think I deserve more. So he's asking for about $200 million payout from the start of the court case. And he said, it's not even about me. If I win this case, whatever I get from it, I'm gonna give it back to OpenAI's charitable arm so the money can still go for a nonprofit cause, right? So that's from his perspective. And then from OpenAI's perspective, their lawyer said, hey, if Elon was really about nonprofit and helping all humanity towards smart intelligence, why then wouldn't we kicked him out? He didn't really go to make another nonprofit, but instead he went out to form XAI, which is a for-profit organization. So that's their biggest argument. And the biggest part is some of them have like some pretty good technical points that could actually hold their ground in the law court, but a lot of them seem to be personal attacks saying, hey, you can't trust that guy, you can't trust that guy. But it's court, it was a little different. So they do have some pretty good points, but I just feel like it's more so them falling out. So just so folks know, me and Daniel had a debate about this point off camera,
yeah.
and then we had a little wager. Did you want to share what the wager was and then share who won this wager? Daniel, go ahead.
We were to decide who was going to win this court case, where I went with Elon Musk winning the case, and Money went with Sam Altman winning the case. And yeah, so today I would say money. This one you want it, yeah.
Yeah, I deserve some confetti, and I'm gonna ask for a cake as well for being a winner. It's hard getting all these points, and I'm just being you in debate, so that's fun. But yeah, so I kind of saw it coming because a lot of Elon's points were just based off of Sam Altman's character. And I think the New York article that was released a couple of weeks ago, it mentioned how one of his employees who said, hey, he shows or he tries to make it look like he knows a lot about tech and he knows a lot about what he's doing, but he actually doesn't. They tried to essentially say he's more of a public facing person, a businessman. I think that coming out and then this court case coming out not too long after kind of didn't help either on Sam Altman's personality.
Yeah, money. So you know that OpenAI has some form of deal with Microsoft where Microsoft is able to provide Azure infrastructure to OpenAI. Do you think that that could be a reason why we have this court case coming up? Because we know that now OpenAI plans to include Amazon as well into this, let me say, into its partners, so that it's able to also obtain some form of infrastructure from AWS.
That's a good one because I think it's a lot happening now, and we have a lot of people that are gunning for their IPO. So we currently have the merger with XAI and SpaceX because SpaceX is going for their IPO, and since they're more of a traditional rocket launching company, and they have a pretty good valuation, but just having whatever AI slapped into your name puts you at a much higher level. So that merge is happening. That's the first half of it. And we do know that new deal we just talked about with OpenAI and Amazon for compute services, it's gonna make OpenAI have more options because initially they were kind of tied with Microsoft where they really didn't have a wiggle room in terms of that. And we know with the AI market, it's more of an arms race where who has more compute power because a lot of these inferencing and training costs comes from who you are working with and also what resources they have. And we're getting to a point where traditional NVIDIA H100s are not cutting it enough. The Blackwell chips are great, but they're kind of getting outdated. And we have Amazon with their TPU chips coming out. And in Google as well, they're doing more stuff within that. So we know having more provider options means you have more chips for your training runs, right? So OpenAI having that deal is a pretty big step, I'd say. So that could be a fact. And we do know OpenAI is aiming for their IPO sometime in 2026. Could probably be the fourth quarter of this year. So I think when they are releasing that IPO, a lot of these documents that were talked about in court and we have people's personal memos being read out in court, and a lot of them were pretty bad statements about OpenAI. So all of these have to be included in their IPO. And I just think it's gonna get a lot of investors thinking a little more about, hey, do I really want to invest in this company given all that I know about them? So it's a lot of moving parts in the AI space where we have all these AI labs merging with traditional companies like Microsoft's Google. And we do know Anthropic has their new partnership with XAI where they could use their data centers for their training runs. So it's a lot going on. And I think everyone's trying to figure out, hey, who can I partner with? So together we could be a stronger force in this AI space. And the only person I see who could actually make another big change might be who does Google ultimately choose to work with? Are they going to go with the Anthropic route where they're more B2B? They already have their new deal with XAI, or are they going to want to work with OpenAI, who already has their partnership with Microsoft and now Amazon? Elon's probably fourth in the rankings with SpaceX because when we think about AI, right, we all think ChatGPT. That's a common household name at this point. We think ChatGPT, we think Claude Code, we think Gemini. We barely ever think about their Grok models. It's like it's the forgotten fourth child, right? So if Elon's really gonna try to battle with ChatGPT, he's got a long way to go. And honestly, I don't think it's gonna be the last one here. I do think there's gonna be more of these coming out in the future.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts at the moment, especially in this year for when you talk about AI in the tech industry. I guess we'll just need to hold on for some time and see how all these play out probably at the end of this year. Thank you all for watching and let us know what you think about this topic in the comment section.
Peace out.